Myself, those of you that don't know me, I'm a lifelong resident of York County. I was born in 1950 in New York Hospital. I graduated from West York High School in 1968. I went on to Culver Stockton College in Canton, Missouri. I graduated in 1972 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in History and Political Science. I came back to York. I'm a member of St. Stephen's United Church of Christ, which I joined when I was 2 years old back in 1952. I'm still a member there. I currently volunteer with the Big Brothers Big Sisters. I've been in that program for 5 years. I tell people I started with Eli, whose father was in prison. We started going to Toys R Us 5 years ago, and now we're looking at pickup trucks, so we've gone the whole gamut. I also help out with the Sarah Care Hospice when my dog was living. I used to go do dog therapy. And as a commissioner, I'm on a lot of boards, committees, and organizations that I attend all over this county. My work experience is I was in public finance for 25 years. I worked in a nonprofit organization that issued tax-free municipal bonds for high schools, colleges, universities in Pennsylvania. I worked in senior management, I worked in marketing, I worked in personnel, and I was a small business owner. As a York County Commissioner, I'm not going to get into all the things that we did. I'm sure Chris will have some things to say. But I'm proud that we had no tax increases for 2 years. We maintained quality services in York County. And I'm proud to say last year we actually increased the credit rating, the financial position of York County government. When all of the governments were having problems with the economic climate, we actually went through a credit rating in York County. With my background and expertise in the public finance, York County actually was upgraded. I tell people in my stomp speech when I go out and speak to people in the community, I think I've worked hard over the past 3 years and 4 months. Anybody that knows my work ethic, I'm in every morning early, I'm there late at night, I do my homework. My family taught me the meaning of good work ethic. I've been financially responsible for the people of York County. I've been engaged in this community. I've traveled from Dillsburg to Delaware, from Hanover to Wrightsville to meet with people and organizations. And I've stood up for working families and businesses and the agricultural community in York County. I hope I've earned your support on my performance as York County Commissioner, and I hope you will vote for me in the upcoming election. Thank you.
Larry, can you help me move this up here?
The question was, how do you propose to balance the county's budget without putting further tax burdens upon the residents? I know you kept it at the 2009 no tax increase. Do you think that will continue going forward, and how so?
I certainly hope so. I think when we came into office, and we took office back in 2008, there was a small tax increase. We've worked hard. One of the things I'm proud of is our nursing home out of Pleasant Acres. When I came into office, the Pleasant Acres nursing home was running at a deficit, and the county was actually putting some money into the nursing home, almost about $3 million in reimbursement. And I said, you know, we really need to turn that around. And in 3 years, we've turned it around by doing a lot of things different out in the nursing homes, maintaining the quality. And we're down now to almost revenue neutral. I hope to continue to do things like that. I will tell you, when I became county commissioner, it took about a year to get acclimated. I wasn't intimidated by the job, but there are about 50 departments in the county. We work with the row officers, we work with the legal justice system. There was a lot to learn. There was a lot of personalities to get to know. But I think that I can continue on that course. I have a background in personnel. I used to do desk audits. I'm involved with staffing and things. I enjoy looking at things like that, downsides of government. And I think the background and expertise I've had over the 34 years I wasn't a county commissioner, I bring that I hopefully can continue to do that.
Go ahead. Is that on?
Who's your favorite Republican commissioner, Chris Riley or Steve Cronister?
I'm not going to answer that.
what do you, how do you propose to keep things from getting out of hand spending wise?
I think if anybody knows me and my family, and I talked before about my mom and dad, I was brought up in a family that I was taught to save my money, to live within my means, to not go into debt, and I've used that philosophy in my own life, all throughout my life, and I use that philosophy in York County government. If anybody watches our county commissioner meetings on television, or you ever come in, look at who's the person asking all the questions. And the questions to our department heads are, why are we spending that money? What benefit is to the taxpayer? Why do we need to do this? I continually ask those questions, then I balance the benefits, the pros and cons to make the decisions that I have to make in county government. But I don't think you'll find anybody that's more fiscally responsible than I am. There's several people say this all the time, that I had the first dollar ever made, and that is true. And I'm proud of it. I kept it. The first check I ever cashed, I kept that dollar. And I use that same philosophy that I've used all throughout my life as an elected official right now. And believe me, I'm looking out for your interest. That money is your money. And when I try to make good decisions in county government, I look at it in the perspective that it's your money and I'm spending it. I want to do the right thing.
Mr. Hoke? Yes. With the block grants that could come, depending upon what happens in the federal sector, how would that impact, say, county commissioner's job? The county scenario where one of the complaints against block grants is that for the people that are jobless and poor, genuine poor, not people freeloading, how would that impact things? Receiving block grants, how would they be handled? Thank you.
When you talk about grants, whether they're block grants,
Well, for the Medicaid program, for example, I think Paul Ryan is proposing block grants given to the state, and then there's resistance to that. I'm trying to get a picture as to how the state would handle block grants if they didn't have enough money. What would happen?
the only thing I can say is, as county commissioners, we will be feeling the effects of the budget cuts, whether it's from the federal government or the state government, being passed on down through the county. But as a senior myself, I am very concerned in the senior programs that we have in York County and keeping them up to par with what we need. As far as funding, we were just told recently about funding coming through in the Health and Human Services Division. We sat in a meeting and we talked about a gentleman that doesn't have a car and doesn't have access to driving, is on dialysis and needs a ride to the dialysis to have that done every day. Those are the type of things that we have to look at as far as making sure there's funding available to do that. As far as the block grants and the state mandates from the state coming through the county, a lot of times commissioners don't have control over how those monies are spent because they're mandated by the state and federal government. I'm getting the stop sign. I don't know if that's for me or not.
Thanks, Doug.
All right.